sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sin kiss goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti. Black girl magic, melanin popping. Whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog. When God made you, boo, you know he showed out. Mahogany enchantress, blessings overflow now. Picture of success, seductive silhouettes on a spiritual quest. Manifest and be blessed. Mother, sister, auntie, tribe of Ashanti. Rocking your locks, I got a close crop blondie. The curse and the gift, uplift, apply pressure. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. I am your host, Ursula, and I'm a Black girl that has her shift together. Tonight is a bonus episode. I know I usually air on Wednesdays, but life happens, but I'm still here for the people. So I have a bonus episode, and it's one of my favorite people that I've met up in these YouTube streets. But before we do that, let's get into some housekeeping. Make sure, please check out www.blackgirlsgettingtheirshifttogether.com. Make sure you go to any streaming audio podcast. Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together is also on that. And make sure, give your girl a 5-star review. It's okay. It is so okay. Also, when you hear my voice, please make sure and subscribe to the YouTube channel. All you have to do is go to that little corner right there and press that box and subscribe, but make sure you click the bell. All right. Oh, and tell 2 friends about this. Why not, right? It's all about learning. But we're going to get right into it. We got a lot of good self-development tonight, and this is the person to do it. I'm going to bring my beautiful guest out of the waiting room.
Hello.
Hello, beautiful.
How are you? Hi, Ursula. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday.
I know it feels weird doing this on a Thursday, but I'm with the right person. So yes. This helps. But everyone, this is the beautiful Candy Washington. She is a self-care muse. And look how pretty she is. But that comes from the inside out. We've talked in depth before. We don't talk all the time, but when we do, we peel the layers back. Mm-hmm. And the transparency that's there. That's what really makes me drawn to her. And she's one of our show favorites. How was your day today, sis?
My day was good. It was blessed. I woke up and I felt in a good spirit, and I just did some journaling. Then I'm doing a 7-day Level Up Your Life challenge. So I worked on content for that this morning. And then I just did a live for some on my YouTube channel doing a recap of Ladies Who List Atlanta. So I'm just good. I'm in my flow.
I love it. Can we talk about the journaling at the end?
Yes, we can talk about it all, Ursula. I am here for you. We can talk about it all. Mention it all.
Everyone, if you're listening, when you listen, please make sure and type replay if it's later on. And we already have a hello up in this.
Oh,
Crystal. How are you, Crystal?
hey,
So we're going to get right into it tonight. We're going to talk about some discernment. We're going to talk about self-awareness and how we can stand in our power, even if it's during times of criticism. Are you game with that, Candy?
I'm game. I think that is the time to stand in your power. That's what makes it power. Because it's against something else. It's against the criticism. If there was no opposition, you wouldn't need any force. But when someone's coming against you, that's when you need to stand in your power and be like, no weapon, boo-boo.
I know, right? As we talked pre-show, we all become some low-key or high-key rescuers. But you're right. When you stand in your power, you know which side of the line you will be on unapologetically.
That's the key. That is the key.
Yes, unapologetically. Yeah. So let's get right into it. So what I want to know, what is your opinion on someone who's an uber criticizer or someone who is just giving constructive feedback? Can you tell us the difference? And if you need to, give us some examples of anything you've gone through.
Absolutely. I think that's where the power of discernment is really important, because I think anytime you are a person, particularly a woman of color, but anytime you're anyone who stands in your power and you are doing something, you're putting out a project, you're starting a podcast, you have a YouTube channel, you're writing a book, you're starting a business, or you just are just living your life fully, right? You will have people who think it's their place to give you feedback or criticism. But there's a difference between when someone is coming from a place of being a hater and a place where someone is giving you constructive feedback. And it's our job to have the discernment to know the difference between the two. Because, go ahead.
Do you think ego can get in the way on how to skew the lines or blur the lines, whether if it's criticizer or constructive?
Absolutely. I think ego 100% gets in the way with being able to discern, is this person being a hater or is this person providing constructive feedback? Because just because someone may not agree, or they may have notes, or they may have something to say about what you're doing, particularly, and I'm talking about in a healthy way, because sometimes if I don't ask you for your opinion, then you don't necessarily need to give it to me. Right? Like, I'll ask you for your guidance. I'll ask you for your advice. I'll ask you for your feedback. But unless I'm asking for it, you don't need to, I don't need unsolicited feedback and hater stuff. Right. But it's like, say someone leaves a really nasty comment on a post, or say someone is really being a troll and they're just talking about you doing this or that, or it could even be like a frenemy, someone in your circle who just has these like passive aggressive digs, or they say certain things about you, right? Or you could have the people who are like, hey, great show, but what about da 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 da? Or Candy, like, I think you're a great friend, but sometimes when you say this, it come across like this, da 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 da. It's when when you have the discernment and the self-awareness in yourself to say, is what this person's saying to me, is it out of their own wounding, their own hurt, their own insecurity, their own jealousy, their own X, Y, and Z? Or is it actually from a place of love? And by love, I just mean a place of, hey, this is what I've noticed. And when you are clear on who you are, and when you are clear on what your value is, when you're clear on what your worth is, when you're clear on what you're doing, you have the self-awareness and the discernment to know the difference between the two. And when you come from that place of power, you can say, this person is a hater and a troll. I don't need to internalize that. I don't need to now go and be upset about it. I don't need to cry about it. I don't need to try and prove them wrong. I don't need to go on a Twitter fight with them. I can just say, well, that's their stuff, and move it along. And then you also come from that place of letting go of the ego to a place of empowerment of saying, wow, I never thought of it that way. Or thank you for letting me know that's your experience of me. Or good idea, I could try it this way. And then you take that feedback and you turn it into information that you can now use to continue to elevate yourself. Because I don't care who you are, even Serena Williams gets notes. Serena Williams
Yes.
has a coach. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter who you are. You're the best of the best. Jeff Bezos of Amazon, he still has a board of directors. You know what I'm saying? Like the best of the best still gets feedback, still gets notes, still gets that. But when you are rooted in pride and ego, you take everything personally. So these haters out there are winning because they're actually getting in your head. They're actually stealing your joy. They're actually taking you down. Or you miss out on valuable constructive feedback that you could take to level up because you think you're right and no one can tell you anything and you got this. But your true power is knowing that no matter what anybody says, good or bad, that doesn't take away my worthiness and my value. Whether your feedback is constructive or whether it's destructive, it's just feedback. But I know who I am.
Right. It's funny you said that because as you're talking, I'm thinking of an experience I've had. So I have a parent who is extremely insecure. Extremely. And if anybody wants to know the backstory, you have to go to Candy and our last video, and we both share our experiences. But that parent will criticize to the point you just feel the venom darts just go.
Yeah.
And when I wasn't self-aware, so I absorbed it and it got to me, Now I can clearly see, because of work I'm doing, have done and still doing, and I compare it to, I have an aunt and she's like this too, but guess what? She is coming from love. And I can accept it a lot more because I know she wants the best for me. And it's really out of love, not out of a fragile ego and insecurity.
And you know what came up when we were talking? It's actually a conversation me and my really good friend had a lot this past weekend because she and I went to Mammoth to ski. Like, it was so much fun. Anyway, but one thing that we were talking about was, and this applies as well, there's someone in her life, I won't say who because it's her story to tell, but there's someone in her life who's very much the same. Like, she and I are both single and we're dating and we're having fun, but we'll get the like, have you met anybody yet? Are you on a date? Like, how many dates do you have lined up? Have you met anybody yet? And it's this almost like pick to the point where it's, and the advice that I gave her was, well, you just need to tell this person, listen, I know you're coming from a place of love. I know you just want me to be happy and safe and protected and to have someone. I know that's what society tells us a woman needs to have in order to be X, Y, and Z, whatever. I know we're coming from a place of love. However, when I am ready to talk to you about my love life, I will talk to you about it. Until then, let's talk about other things. Because even though someone can be coming from a place of love, that doesn't mean they're allowed to disrespect your boundaries if it's making you feel uncomfortable. Because a person's intention doesn't always necessarily correlate to the experience that you have of them. And when that happens, you're allowed to create a boundary. So yes, these people in our lives, aunts, mothers, uncles, blah, 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 blah. Sure, they're working from their own programming. They're working from their own programming, and their intention might be good. They might be nitpicking and criticizing and asking out of what they perceive to be wanting to protect you and love, because that's what they perceive it to be.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that's what it feels like, because it made her feel less than. It made her feel like, well, is there something wrong with me? Like, why, like, am I not good enough? All of those things. And then it put the pressure on. And when you actually have all that pressure, it actually creates resistance. So even though they're asking you, have you met someone, that gives you all this anxiety and pressure, that's actually repelling the right people from you. So they're actually
Ah.
they're actually not helping you, because now you're going out from the sense of, I'm not good enough. I have to do this to be lovable. I have to do this to be good enough. I have to do this for my person. I have to do this for X, Y, and Z, all of that stuff. And you actually now have this energy of desperation. So you're actually repelling what you think what you're so hard trying to attract in order to be validated by all of these other people. So it's always okay, whether that person's intention is bad or not. If your experience of what they were doing negatively affects you, it is always okay to establish a boundary to protect yourself. And I forgot who said it, but they said that like a boundary is a space where I can love you, where I can love myself and love you simultaneously.
I like
And
that.
I love that. It's so true.
Yeah. And boundaries are something new for me. Grown up boundaries, my adulting boundaries.
Yes.
And I've said this plenty of times. I thought I was holding boundaries before. That's just because I was verbalizing it with truly ineffective communication. But now I can hold them firm, and not out of resentment, or it's just because this is how I feel, because I used to ignore how it was triggering my body always. And the people pleaser, I'll just lay on the tracks just to let them feel better. But now, I hold the boundaries, and I'm still working on it, but I'm getting so much more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels empowering.
It feels so empowering, and it's a life thing. We'll get better at it. We'll have slip up. It's a life thing. But I love that you brought that up, because that reminds me of something that I had gone through. Like, I was in a partnership with these people, and it went from being really, really fun and positive to being a little bit unhealthy, weird dynamics, a little bit toxic. And one of the people that we were working together with just always had drama with someone else. It was always some drama, but I really cared about that person. So I started to, being my codependent path, being very empathetic, I started to absorb that person's feelings and feeling like, well, I now need to defend that person, rescue that person in these situations.
Oh, that drama triangle.
And so I called myself, well, this is my friend, so I'm going to defend this person. And then, as the drama triangle always goes, the moment the person you think you're rescuing is back in cahoots with the other third person, then you become the outsider. You become the perpetrator. And it's classic cliche, and that's exactly what happened. So I was like, well, wait a minute. I'm defending you, and now all of a sudden you're talking about me, and now I'm the bad person. But I'm only in this situation because you told me how negative it was. And you told me what this person was doing to you. And I'm defending you. But now on Mad Day, now I'm the bad guy. And so what I had to do, and I'm actually really thankful this happened, because, I'm thankful for it on my own personal. I'll tell you why. I'm really thankful it happened in reference to my own spiritual path and my own emotional journey, because it made me, I have been doing all this work on myself. I totally get it, all of that, right? But then it became a real life experience. And then I had to look and say, I'm not going to internalize this. I'm not going to think, oh, am I being too sensitive? Am I being too emotional? Oh, well, am I not allowed to say that what you did hurt me? Blah, 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 blah. No, I was like, I validate myself.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know, and I'm allowed to say, hold up, you just disrespected me. And that is not okay. So it gave me the opportunity to validate how I felt. I didn't need anybody else in our partnership to tell me how I felt or what their opinion on my feelings were, because they are my feelings and it was my experience. I don't mean you, I mean like in general.
Yeah.
You don't have the right to tell me how I'm supposed to feel about myself. You don't have the right to tell me what my feelings should and should not be. They are my feelings. I am the one who experienced it. I was the one who got disrespected. So your opinion on my reaction has no value to me because I validate myself. I don't look outside of myself to tell me it's okay to be sad, upset, pissed off, angry, or hurt. And that was big for me because in the old days, I would be like, that's right? Like, it's right for me to feel this way, right? And I remember talking to them and they're like, well, no one's asked me how I felt about this. And in my mind, I'm just like, I don't need to ask you how you feel about my feelings. They're my feelings. And I know that the person, again, intentionality. I know that the person was coming from a good place. They're coming from like, well, you're not asking me how I feel about this. But what we were talking about was what had happened to me. Mm-hmm. And that is the essence of self-validation. I don't need anybody outside of myself to validate how I feel because they're my feelings.
I love that.
And I'm not giving away my power to anyone. I don't need you to co-sign how I feel. Okay? Because they're my feelings. So I'm happy that happened because that was a way for me to, and again, it goes to healing, right? You think, oh, I've done all this work. I know all this stuff. Why is this happening again? Why is this pattern happening again? Like, how am I back in the drama triangle? Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean you're not healed. Doesn't mean you're not healing. Doesn't mean you're not on the right path. It just means this is a moment to meet this opportunity as a higher version of yourself. Mm-hmm. It's just an opportunity to meet the moment differently. And so I said, how am I going to meet this moment differently? Because I've met this moment before. It's just a pattern. Being in the drama triangle, thinking I have to defend people, thinking I have to save people, thinking that I have to be liked by everybody, right? Mm-hmm. That is just a typical cliche pattern. But now I have the opportunity to meet this moment differently. I now have the opportunity to meet this moment from a place of self-compassion, self-worth, and self-love. Mm-hmm. So I thought to myself, I'm in this situation now. What boundary, standard, or value am I not respecting and are other people not respecting that put me in this situation? Right. And once I identify that, then I need to reinforce that boundary. If I can't identify it, then what boundary, standard, or value do I need to implement? And I'll tell you what it was.
What was it?
I had a boundary where I was saying, I don't want to hear about this drama. I no longer want to participate in the drama that you're having with people that literally have nothing to do with me. I want to mind my business and stay in my lane. If you want to talk to me about other things, cool. Mm-hmm. I'm here for you. I'm your friend. I'm down for you. But I no longer want to participate in what is dramatic and toxic. But I disrespected that boundary because when they came back to me with the BS, I then engaged.
Got it.
And that is what put me in that situation. Mm-hmm. Because in all things, we have to take total self-responsibility. What boundary, standard, or value of that I have am I disrespecting that put me in this situation?
Right.
So now I need to, and so then I reinforced it and I was like, listen, it went down. But you know what? I still love you. I still want to be friends. However, this is the boundary I have. And it just didn't work out from there because a lot of times people will rock with you until you tell them no. The quickest way to find out if somebody is in your life authentically for you or from what they can get from you is when you tell them no. When you set a boundary with a guy and you say no more casual sex and he's out, well, you knew what he was about.
Exactly.
If you set a boundary with your friends and you stop allowing them to say and do things and disrespect you that you no longer want and they're out, well, they really weren't your friend. They just wanted to do whatever, get whatever they could, you know what I mean? Whatever the situation is. The quickest way to see who is for you is to tell them no.
I was just going to say that. Yes. You took the words out of my mouth and that will show you, that will make things very clear. So after that is how do you respond to it? How do we respond to it? Do we continue to be in that triangle or try to repair? No. You see it, try to repair and I'm gonna make it fit.
No, the way you get out of the triangle is you create the boundary.
Mm-hmm.
You're no longer going to be in the triangle because you're creating a boundary between yourself and the triangle. You're saying, this is what you can expect from me, and this is what you can, you're allowed to treat me and I'm allowed to treat you. Those are what the boundaries are. Boundaries are just setting up the expectations of a relationship. This is what is expected, and if someone disrespects that boundary, then it's an opportunity. Are you going to go back into your pattern of thinking that you have to be a doormat, thinking that you have to be liked by everybody, thinking that you can't say how you actually feel, that you're just allowed to, that you have to normalize dysfunction and stuff like that in order to stay cool and down and liked? Or do you like and love yourself enough to say, I'm going to hold me down no matter what? And who's meant for me will come and who is not will leave. But no matter what, I am good.
Wow.
That is how you stand into your power in the face of criticism. Because the moment you create those boundaries with people, be prepared for them not to like it. And be prepared for them to talk about you. Be prepared for them to gaslight you. Be prepared for all of that stuff. But don't let them throwing a temper tantrum because you are no longer allowing them to disrespect you make you think it's a reflection of yourself, because that is a reflection of them. Because if somebody told me no, my reaction would be like, okay, cool. And I would keep it like, who cares? It's fine. You said no, no big deal. Like, it's good. We're still friends. We're still cool. No problem. But when you tell somebody no and their intentions aren't authentically to actually be to ride with you, that's when you get these reactions. That's why it shows you who's really there for you and who's not there for you.
Well, what about when someone does have their criticism, and if you react like you said, like, okay, well, how do you become comfortable in that, in the face of criticism?
You mean if they criticize you, how do you become comfortable in the face of it? Like if they say something to you? I don't know if I necessarily, like, give me an example.
Or do you have to even be comfortable with it?
I think
probably not.
Okay, I'll give you an example. Like, someone said something to me that I'm not going to say the exact word, but let's say, I don't know. I don't know what a good synonym is. Like, say someone called you uppity.
Right.
Uppity or something like that, right? Uppity or whatever it is. Like, oh, you think you're better than everybody else. You think you're better than somebody else. Like, they're trying to like nitpick you. They're trying to criticize you, right? How I dealt with that was, first of all, to me, it was laughable because it's like, I can't make anybody feel less than. That's a you feeling, not a me feeling.
Right.
And then I did what we talked about earlier. I checked my own ego at the door and said, is this person saying this out of, because there's only two things that things are set out of: fear or love.
Right.
And fear could be the fear, and like, and by fear I mean it's like the hater ego, the trolls. They say things out of fear because they're actually fearful that they aren't good enough. They're fearful that that they are X, Y, and Z. They are living in their own fear, and that's why when they see someone living in the light, they want to take them down because they're not living in their own light and their own love. Right. So that's why it's like we said: is this a hater saying this, or is this someone giving me constructive feedback? Because there is value in saying, well, this is what someone's experience of you is. Those are two different things, right?
Right.
Sometimes people do come across with attitude, ego, this, that, and the third, right? So I had to check my own ego and say, well, am I getting this criticism? Are people calling me this name because that's how I'm showing up? Is it actually about that? Or is it about their own stuff? Is it about something else? Right. And that's where self-awareness comes in. That's with knowing who you are comes in. That's where discernment comes in, where you can say, well, maybe I need to look at myself in that area. Or you can say, you know what? The fact that my confidence disturbs your insecurity is not my problem. And you can
Mm.
stand in your power and you can be confident and you can be who you are. Doesn't make you uppity, doesn't make you sedity, doesn't make you conceited, doesn't make you cocky, doesn't make you condescending, doesn't make you any of those things. It actually makes you a healthy, evolved, confident human being who knows who she is.
Right. I love
And if
that.
that bothers you, that's a you problem, not a me problem.
Hmm. Well, have you ever experienced about with situations like that? Has it
Yeah.
ever sabotaged your success?
Mm. I would say maybe in the past. Maybe in the past it has. Maybe it has on some level. I would say sabotage my success in the past on the level of it probably subconsciously made me not play big. I think it made me stay small because I didn't want people to think, well, who does she think she is? She's
Hmm.
cocky, she's conceited, she's condescending, she's sedity, like all of the, you know what I mean? Like, I think that I probably kept myself small because I didn't want people to think that. But now I'm in a place where I know God did not create me to play it small. God created me to stand into
Damn.
my full power, my full authenticity, to show up and show out and to take and to proudly take up the unique space that he has given me to play
I
on this
love
earth.
that. I love
And so
that.
I think in the past it may have sabotaged me because it kept me small. And I'll give you another example of that. There was someone that was talking and they were doing this whole weird thing where I don't know if you know people who are content creators and they'll do like a course, or they'll do like a paid program or something,
Right.
and they don't have the confidence enough to actually put a true value on it that is reflective of the value that they think that they're giving. And
Hmm.
they were only charging like very like small amount or whatever, which is fine because this is the thing. If you think your content is worth $2, it's worth $2. If you think it's worth $20, it's worth $20. If you think it's
Right.
worth $200, it's worth $200. That's fine. You can give it away for free. Who cares? It's your content, it's your choice. But what is the tricky part is the person kept saying, yeah, like I'm not trying to like gouge people and charge like $20 for this, and I'm not gonna like make all these promises and things like that. And in my mind, I was thinking, are you talking about me? Because I had just launched a course and my Lux Life group, and my price point's around like $20, like $20 to $30. But I was like, no, I'm tripping. Like everybody isn't talking about you, Candy. Like relax. But it just, I
It was
think they
right
were.
here.
It was like one of those things because they were like, it was clear that they were referring to someone. And I was just like, okay. But they're like, like I'm just gonna charge this and like it's fine. And like, I'm not trying to like, gouge people or like whatever they said. And in my mind, I'm just like, there's no glory in playing small, and there's no glory in fake humility. Because there's nothing humble about what you said or did. There's a difference between saying, I created this amazing new course or this new subscription, whatever it is. It's $2 a month, it's $3 a month, it's $4 a month. You're getting
Right.
all of this great content. It's amazing and it's great. I can't wait to share with you guys this. That's very different than like, yeah, like I'm not doing like $20. I don't know, people, it's just like, well, who are you talking to and who are you talking about? Why are you comparing what your package is to somebody else's package? What phantom package are you talking about? Just
Right.
talk about your stuff and be confident and strong in what you're doing and who you are and the value that you add. Because to me, that says there's something in you that doesn't believe in the value of what you're doing. So you're playing it small and you're making these excuses and you are comparing yourself to others in order to stay safe and small. Because it
Ooh.
doesn't matter what you're charging. You could charge 2 cents, $2, $5, $10. As long as you believe in the value that what you're giving and what you're doing, you don't need to compare yourself to anybody else. You only do
Hmm.
comparison because there's a part of you that doesn't believe in what you are doing. And that is what the essence of the problem is. You don't buy into what you're doing. So the
Wow.
fact that somebody else buys into what they're doing and they're not scared to charge a price for what they're doing, bothers you because you don't really buy into what you're doing. And that's why I meant by things are either rooted in fear or in love.
Right. That is a situation right there that sounds extremely familiar.
Yeah, and it's just like you get to price your content. And this is what the beauty of this world is. You get to price your content, and also there is an audience for every price point.
There really is.
You could be a dog walker. Someone will pay you $5 an hour. Somebody will pay you $50 an hour. Somebody will pay you $200 an hour. There is a audience consumer base who are willing to pay every single price point. You have some people who will only do free content. They're not going to buy your course no matter what. They only want to do free content. And then you have people who say, well, your course doesn't cost enough. I don't think it's good enough. I only buy courses that are $1,000. When you really look at the world, you have consumers at every level. You have people who fly Spirit. You have people who fly private. Okay.
Right.
So you have a price point for everybody. You have somebody who shops at the 99-cent store, and you have somebody who shops at Whole Foods. You have somebody who shops at H&M. You got somebody who shops at Gucci. There is a price point for every person in this world.
Indeed.
The power of being an entrepreneur, the power of working for yourself is you defining what your value is, you defining what the value of your product is. How powerful is it for you to say, what I created is worth this?
Wow.
That is so powerful. But until you buy into you, of course you're bothered that people are buying into themselves. Of course you're comparing yourself to other people because you didn't buy into yourself.
That's the key right there, buying into yourself.
You didn't buy into yourself.
And I have to constantly say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. But
my light is gone. Keep going.
You're still shining.
I am. Okay, let me not mess up the stitch. Okay, let me go.
Go ahead. Trust yourself. Trust yourself.
Light. Woo. Okay, keep talking.
Here we go. Well, speaking of these different situations, how do you know what is it in you that knows when it's time to remove yourself from situations like that? Hey, I like that necklace.
Oh, thank you so much.
A lot. But yeah, how do you know when to remove yourself from those said situations?
Oh, here we go. Okay. Again, it goes back to discernment, yes, but also intuition. I think intuition is the number one thing. When that voice tells you it's time to leave, it's time to leave.
Ooh.
And the way you cultivate that voice is through meditation, being still. It's through journaling. It's through prayer. It's through doing something that's creative, where your mind is just in that, zone of genius, that just like zone when you're zoned out. Because if you are disconnected to your intuition, which is just your divine guidance system, it's that divine guidance system that is there to tell you what is your next right move in life. It's there to protect you, and it's there to guide you. So when you get that voice that says it's time to move, you need to move. Because I promise you 100% of the time, 100% of the time, when you don't listen to that voice, something negative happens. It might be big, it might be small, but 100% of the time, when you do not heed that voice, something happens. Whether it's a pebble thrown, the next time it's going to be a rock, the next time it's going to be a boulder, the next time the whole damn mountain's coming down on your head. But
plus the lightning bolt.
But until you heed that, it's just going to get louder and louder and louder until you have no choice but to heed it.
Yes. Let me tell you a story real quick.
Go ahead.
So in my former profession, we're around a bunch of doctors. And so I saw one of my peers, and I used to see her at the gym all the time. And so literally 2 years had passed. And so I said, we'll call her Amy.
Okay.
I said, hey, Amy. I said, I haven't seen you in a while. Are you still in said profession? And she said, I had to get out of it. She said that she was having such a hard time with one of her supervisors. And something told her, she kept saying to herself, I need to quit. I need to quit because this job is so stressful. Everything is stressful. The doctors are stressful, the co-work, everything. And she stayed. And something always just kept nagging her. And so she decided, well, before I leave, and it was always a situation. Sometimes I feel we push the finish line further back just because it is comfortable to stay in toxic situations.
Yep.
And so she decided to have a meeting with that supervisor. And then Amy said they had the meeting and it was horrible. And she said she walked out and she's like, oh, I'm so mad. And she woke up in the hospital 2 weeks later. She ended up having a stroke induced by stress.
Yep.
And a mild heart attack.
Yep.
That's one of the boulders and the lightning strikes. And I get it because I've been in situations like that, whether it's been with family, employment, friends, relationships. Oh my God. It's very easy to ignore.
It's very easy to ignore. And that's the saddest part. That's why we have to really work on everything that, you and I talk about. Self-care, self-love, self-concept, connection to spirit, like all of that, because the more you love yourself, the more you're in tune with yourself. This is the biggest key to all of this. The more you trust yourself first. Because the problem is that we don't trust our own gut. We don't trust what our intuition is telling us. So we look outside of ourselves. When you hear that voice, it's time to move. Well, let's wait until this. Well, maybe the supervisor will change. Well, I got to do this. Everything else. Well, everybody else says, it's hard to get a job, so don't quit your job. Everybody else says it's a really cool thing what you guys are doing. Everybody else. But when your spirit, when your gut tells you it's done, it's over, leave, move, you have to be in such a place in your life where you trust yourself above all. And there's a reason why it's called a gut feeling.
Talk to me.
You really have to be in a place, and I'm so thankful I'm there right now. You have to be in a place where how you feel is your first and best priority at all times. Not in a negative, cocky, conceited, egotistical. We're not talking about any of those nasty things. We're not talking about. We're talking about that divine knowingness. That's why it's called a gut feeling. That's why every time you talk to someone and something bad happens, what do they always say? I had a feeling.
Yes.
I had a feeling I shouldn't have went to that party. I had a feeling I shouldn't have gotten that man's car. I had a feeling I shouldn't have went on that date. I had a feeling I should have quit my job sooner. I had a feeling this girl was doing this, blah, 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 blah. I had a feeling. But we ignore how we feel in order to keep other people comfortable. Ooh. We deprioritize ourselves and we put how other people feel, what other people want, what other people may or may not think about us on a pedestal. Because if you feel something and you don't trust it, you ignore it because you're worried about what somebody else is going to think or feel or say, you are putting them up here and how you feel down here. And I'm in a place in my life where how I feel is my first and best priority. So if I feel it's not right, it's not right.
It's not
and
right.
And then it goes back to what we talked about earlier, self-validation. I don't need you to co-sign how I feel.
Right.
I co-sign how I feel. And I feel how I feel, and that's it.
Isn't it funny how we go against that gut feeling and we, in our minds, we make it right?
Yeah, we talk ourselves out of trusting ourselves.
I believe that goes back to, at least for me, that was rooted in childhood trauma as far as, because I had a parent who was always criticizing all the time and gaslighting me, and it made me second guess myself, and then it spilled over into adulthood, and here I am
100%.
just second guessing everything. My picker was off, everything.
Oh, everything. Because it's rooted in something in your childhood made you feel that it wasn't safe to have
Yes.
needs, and it wasn't safe to have wants, and that somehow what you needed and how you felt either was ignored or dismissed or not good enough or whatever it
Mhm.
was, and that you had to make the adults in the room, who literally are your people who keep you safe, you had to make how they felt the barometer for how you felt in order to
Yes.
stay safe. Because all of these things, they're just coping mechanisms that we got
Mhm.
conditioned into because we were living in unsafe situations. I don't mean like physical danger. You weren't going to be like tossed out a window. I mean
Emotional.
emotional and mental safety. Because codependency is not a mental illness. It's just conditioning. You were just
Exactly.
conditioned to believe that you had to worry and care about how people outside of you felt in order for you to stay safe.
Yes. And you see
It's
that's
just conditioning, and I'm thankful for that, because if you were conditioned one way, you can be reconditioned another, and I you know. So it's like I'm thankful for it. All I have to do is recondition myself. If I was taught this, I can unlearn it. Boop boop.
right.
That's
That's if
why
you
today that's why today I'm like, this is how you can treat me and this is how you cannot treat me. This is what I will tolerate. This is what I not tolerate. This is my boundary.
yeah.
If you respect it, then you can participate in my life. If you can't, it's not, because no matter what, I got me. And my center of my life is myself. And how I
Mhm.
feel matters. What I want matters. How you treat me matters.
That's right.
And I am deserving and I am worthy of respect. And if you are unable to do those things, then there's the door. Point blank, period. Because
Yeah.
in my life, I'm the star of the show. And that's how everybody should be in their own lives. Ursula,
Mhm.
you are the star of Ursula's world. You are the
Right.
star of your show. And that's how people should be. But when we don't have that love of ourselves, we get so bothered by it when we see it in other people.
Ooh, that last part right there.
Yep.
Wow, that is something. So we were talking about emotional safety.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know when it's safe to be vulnerable, when you want to show up in your authentic self?
I love this question. And I'll give you an
Yeah.
example for it. Okay.
Talk to
So,
me.
yes, I love this question because again, with the partnership I was talking about earlier,
Right.
I was being vulnerable with one of the people and I was upset and I was crying because
Mm.
again, I'm strong enough to own my feelings and say what this person did to me hurt my feelings. People who
Mhm.
are not emotionally developed, they think that if you say you're hurt, they think it's weak, they think it's
Weak.
sensitive, emotional. It's actually the strongest thing to say is, this is what my experience was and this is how I'm reacting emotionally. To
Mhm.
actually name your feelings and to honor it is better, because a lot of people who can't do that, they react in anger and they act in defensiveness, because underneath all of that is just hurt.
It is.
What underneath all of that other stuff, it's just hurt. So get to the root cause. If you show up and say, what you did hurt my feelings, let's talk about it, is very different from, my feelings aren't hurt, I see you, girl, da, 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 da. You're doing all the most, because the truth is you're so disconnected to your own feelings and you're so ego based that you think if you acknowledge your authenticity and being authentic and being evolved emotionally and spiritually does not mean you don't feel things. It means you feel them fully and you acknowledge them and you communicate them. That is
Mm.
actually what that means. Being authentic and spiritual and evolved doesn't mean nothing bothers you. It means it doesn't move you.
Right.
But you can still be bothered by it because you're still a human being you're a divine spirit having this human experience. And the beauty of being a human being is that you do feel all the emotions.
Mhm.
If you look at me and say nothing hurts your feelings, I say you need to do a lot of work.
Oh yeah, because you can tell that
You
they're emotionally there would be emotionally stunted
emotionally
because
stuck.
absolutely,
But
and
that's how you
arrested
know
development.
arrested development. And that's what leading to your question. But that's how you know who's safe and who is not safe. Because if you bring your hurt to someone and they say, oh, well, you're just emotional. you're just sensitive. Or, oh, this is my favorite one. Well, it's not like they did this to you. That is a very, very manipulative way to dismiss and invalidate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a very manipulative way to dismiss and invalidate. And it's also a way to shame someone. Like, oh, you're this upset about something. It's not like they slept with your man. It's not like they did this and this. That is a very, very manipulative way to dismiss and invalidate the way someone feels. Imagine how that feels. You say to someone, I'm hurting because of X, Y, and Z. Well, it's not like this happened to you. That's very dismissive. It's very, very dismissive, and it's a way to shame you for being honest about your feelings. So the way that you know if someone is safe is, say you think they're safe and they respond to you that way. That's an indication you don't bring your hurt to that person. They're no longer safe. But this is how you stand in your power. You don't internalize it. You don't let them not having the capacity to hold space for you means that something is wrong for you for how you felt. It doesn't mean you're too sensitive. It doesn't mean you're emotional. Yes, we're all emotional beings. Get into it. It doesn't mean, hello. It doesn't mean that you're overreacting. It doesn't mean any of those things. It means that you are a human being and you're in touch with how you feel. And you just happen to communicate it to the wrong person.
Right.
So don't internalize it. And the first time someone does that to you, let it be the last. Do not bring your hurt to people who do not have the capacity to hold space for you. Another way you know someone isn't safe is, how do they hold space for themselves? If this person is unable to tap into their own emotions, tap into their own feelings, tap into their own vulnerability, tap into their own authenticity, are they super critical? Are they super judgmental? No one can hold space for you that they cannot hold space for themselves. People can only give you what they have. So don't go to someone with your hurt, vulnerability, authenticity if you don't see those same qualities in that person, because they can never give you what they don't have.
Yeah, I wish I would have known that from a few past relationships.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was always, it felt like a hamster wheel because they weren't reacting the way I had wanted them to. And I'm literally having my feelings on a silver platter.
Yeah.
And I'm
You're like, please, Papa.
That's the actress in you right there.
Yeah, exactly. They have some more.
Just some more tea, please. Yeah, I was doing that, but I didn't know any better then. I didn't. I just didn't.
It's not, yeah. So. And that's the thing. It's not saying that person is a bad person. It's not saying you're a bad person. It's just saying that is the limitation of that person, and that is the limitation of you. Now you know you're not a safe person to bring X, Y, and Z to. You might be a great person for A, B, C, D, E, but you're not a great person for this.
Right. Do you mention any of this with your self-care, with the new program that you have?
Yeah, so we not all of this, because this was so like personal and all this stuff, which is great. But yeah, we do that. So I'm doing a 7-day Level Up Your Life challenge. It kicks off on March 1st, which is
March
super
1st.
exciting. Yes. And basically it's every day I give us homework and a workbook, and then I go live in our private group and I talk through each day. And I just got done doing the whole curriculum and the content. I just have to do some videos for it. But yeah, we're doing that. And basically the challenge is tapping into your own abundance, calling into your experience, your own abundance. The core of it really is getting into a place where you're open and ready to receive, whatever that might be. It might be a level up in your love life. It might be a level up in your career. It might be a level up in your body, whatever it is, whatever little thing, not little as in small, but just like what's your next level up? That's really what it is. What is your next level up? And being open to that. And so I take us through 7 days of it, which is really good. Like the first day is mastering your mindset.
That's the
It's
language
good.
I love right there.
It's so good. So the first day, let me see if I can remember. I just wrote all this stuff. I've been frantic for the last 2 days. So the first day is mastering your mindset. The second day is releasing and letting go. The third day is getting clarity on what it is that you want. I think the fourth day is changing your environment. The sixth day is habits and upgrades and gratitude. And I think that's the fifth day. So it's the sixth day. The sixth day is manifestation, law of attraction and law of assumption. And then the seventh day, of course, because it's me, is celebrate. We're going to celebrate and reflect. So that's the course. And I'm just so excited for it. I'm really excited. I got some good girls in there. And we kick off on March 1st. And you can go to my website, candywashington.com, and you can sign up for it. And there's so many good goodies and bonuses that come along with grabbing that 7-day challenge.
Yeah, I like your website. First of all, just the aesthetics of it all. Yeah, when I see, I don't know, it's the colors. I don't know, something about it, but that's how you look to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was like, did she do this on purpose? Because it was a good job, whoever designed it. I don't know.
I designed it myself.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Makes sense.
If there's one thing I know, I'm an expert on Candy Washington.
Yeah,
I'm an expert on my brand. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Thank
Just how
you.
your backdrop is, it all translated to the website.
Yeah.
But you do have a lot of goodies on your website. So everyone who's watching, I just posted Candy's website in the chat. And you also can go into the description, the show description box, and you just click on candywashington.com. But yeah, there are a lot of, it's like Christmas, how you have all the true big gifts, but then on the fireplace, you have the little grab bags. That's how your website is. Like she does have a lot of little knickknacks for the soul.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the place to be. That's the place to be. Yeah. Oh, another thing I want to talk about. Oh, I don't know if we have enough time, but
yeah.
One thing that I learned throughout this process of what we're talking about with this partnership was when I looked back and I was just like, well, why were my feelings hurt? Like, why could I not get over it in that sense? And then what I realized was it wasn't that I couldn't get over it. It was the fact that I was mourning the loss of what I thought could be. Like I was mourning the loss of a friendship that I thought I had. And I was mourning the loss of what I thought. I was mourning the loss of how I had envisioned things turning out. And that is when I was like, oh, that's why I can't get back into the groove. That's why I can't fake the funk. I can forgive. I can take accountability for my role, but I can't go back because I'm mourning the loss of what I thought it was going to be.
Right.
And it's like when Maya Angelou says, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And when it becomes a pattern of behavior, maybe you just have to say, maybe this person just doesn't like me.
Oh, mic drop.
And that is okay.
Damn.
Because I like me enough for the both of us.
Damn, Candy. Wow. Okay. Mic drop again.
That's a tagline from a housewife.
Is it? I love it. Ooh. Okay.
But that's what it is, though. It's like when you have an expectation, and when reality does not meet the expectation, and you're honest about it, you do have to mourn that loss between what you expected and what you got.
But I can hear in your voice how I feel like you're being transparent because I'm hearing the words, I'm grieving, the mourning, it hurts, as opposed to someone, I don't care, F her, fuck her. You can tell the difference right there.
Yeah.
Not saying they
100%.
said that because I don't know, but I know at least with me, I I remember telling a former friend what she did, how it made me feel,
Mhm.
and it was something traumatic that happened to me. It was
Oof.
in the workplace. It was oh, it was traumatic. I didn't realize how traumatic it was until after the fact. And you know what she told me?
What?
That's on you. Get over it. I was like, I
Not safe.
and you know
not,
what?
not safe. Not safe. Not safe.
And when she said that, I remember thinking, I was right back there, as a matter of fact. And I said, I thought in my head, do I continue to have this back and forth, this banter with her?
Yeah.
Or am I just gonna say, you know what, this is how it is? And I think this is the end of our 20-year friendship.
Eek. Can I make a guess?
Absolutely.
I bet it when it's her stuff, she expects all the empathy in the world.
Yes. Yes, because and the reason why I'm saying this when
Yep.
I go forward, because she would play the victim role.
Yep.
And I'm saying this because I have played a victim role, so I can now recognize it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But boy, that hurt me to my soul. And I was like, we're in my mind, I was like, we're done. Like, I truly
Yeah.
I don't feel safe with her. And I mourned that friendship. 20 years is a long
It's a
time.
very long time. It's a very long
Woo.
time.
I was like, no, we're done.
But
We're done.
sometimes people are in your life for a reason and a season.
I can accept that.
Me too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can accept that because at times mm, going back to what you said, at times I have felt safe, but there were a few incidents where I ignored my discernment, and I'll tell you about that offline.
Yes, we'll have a little powwow.
You know how we usually do
You know
anyway.
we
But
do.
yeah,
You
and it
know we
was
do.
some the boy, that discernment came through like a boulder, and I just pushed the boulder out the way.
Yep.
Yeah, but I
And
had
then
my
it came
part.
back swinging, didn't it?
Oh, it did.
Because that's right. Because if you don't listen to the whisper, don't make it yell. Don't make it yell. Because you need to.
Ooh.
If you don't listen to the whisper, don't let it yell. That's why your friend. Unfortunately, I hope she's doing safe right now. But that's why your friend. She didn't listen to the whisper. Didn't listen to the whisper, and then she got sick. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like what Oprah said. It starts with a pebble.
Yeah,
Don't make it turn into a boulder.
exactly. Exactly. So, it happened and I grieved it. And, you know, I just, I do not feel safe emotionally with her. And,
Yeah.
it is what it is. And but it also probably showed how I was feeling about myself at that time.
100%.
So I can't put everything on her at all. Nope, nope, nope,
No,
nope.
that's the thing. We always take radical self-responsibility, right? We take responsibility for how we feel people are mirroring us. Of course, 1,000%. But it's just like
Yes.
we said earlier, these moments are just opportunities for us to show up differently.
Yes.
So
Yes,
it's like, look at
absolutely.
everyone like a teacher. Like, even though it happened with me with this partnership and it made me sad because I truly did in my mind envision like big great things for us and like a true friendship, and when that wasn't the case, I had to mourn the loss of that. But it
Yeah.
was also an opportunity for me to, like what we said, am I going to set boundaries, and am I not going to internalize things, and am I going to
Right.
stand in my power? Does it matter more how I feel, or does it matter more being liked by people, like, all of
Ooh.
that stuff. So even though it was a hurtful experience to me, I'm thankful for it, because
Mhm.
we need to take these experiences and opportunities as a way to evolve in ourselves, as a way to be our higher versions of ourselves. But what does that mean if you don't apply that? These are
Exactly.
opportunities to apply our healing. And every time you apply your healing to a past pattern, you elevate. Because before you get to the next level in anything in life, there is always a test. So what I say is, God, thank you for the test. I really hope I passed it because I'm excited for the next level of my life.
Right. The level up.
Level up. Level up challenge.
And there it is. You are so cute to me every time. I watch your videos sometime. I'm like, this girl.
I'll be wildin'. Hey guys, let's talk about self-care.
Yeah, right. But you have good energy. You really do. I see, we always say, I see you.
I see you too.
I see you. I see you. I want to read something before we conclude. You know what? I would love for us to do another stream in the future about manifestation.
Done and done and done and done.
Yeah.
Let me know when.
So let me read this. You may know this person.
Okay.
I read this on the internet and I thought it was so amazing. Let me know what you think.
Okay.
So the author said, self-love isn't selfish. It's the highest expression of gratitude to this one precious and unique life that we have been given. So let's step into the most empowered version of yourself. That's gracefully waiting for you. And the author is Candy Washington.
Ta-da! Yes.
I read that. I was like, ooh, that massaged my soul.
It
That
did.
was good.
I forgot what I was doing. I think it was putting together more like self-love, like stuff, or like my podcast and things like that. And I remember just like thinking about self-love and thinking about like my life and like how I felt about myself and like all of this stuff, like the good and the bad. And I was like, you know what? How ungrateful must God think I am if I show any part of myself, or if I think that any part of myself is unlovable?
Ooh.
How ungrateful must God think that I am if I believe that his divine creation, that there's something wrong with me, that there is something unlovable about me, that there is something unworthy about me? How ungrateful must God think? So why would he bless me with more?
Right.
If I'm not honoring what he has given me through gratitude, why would he bless me with more? It's like a child. If you gave a child an ice cream cone and that child complained and was ungrateful and had a bad attitude, you're not getting another ice cream cone.
Absolutely
But
not.
if you are like, thank you, Candy, and you love that ice cream cone, you get the whole box, baby girl.
Like, I'm going to give you some more.
What
else do you want?
I'm going to give you some more. I'm going to give you some more. And I forgot what I was thinking about. I was probably like, oh, I need to like lose weight, or I need to like do this, or I need to do that, or some BS self-limiting belief that we all get caught up into sometimes about stuff. And I thought to myself, I think I said a prayer of, God, let me see you the way you see me. That was my prayer.
Wow.
God, let me see myself the way you see me. Like, let me see me the way you see me. Because if you could see yourself through God's lens, how could you ever in your life think that you are less than, undeserving, unworthy, not lovable, not good enough? If you could see yourself the way God sees you. Ooh, I just gotta chill. Ooh,
That's what I'm saying at you. Caught in the matrix.
Caught in the matrix, right?
Ooh.
But that was the prayer I said. And that, I think, was when I really got clear on this journey of self-love and self-worth and being confident and standing in my power and experiencing everything that humanity has to offer me, while also knowing that who I am and my divinity and abundance. I am a child of God. Divinity and abundance is my birthright. And anybody who says otherwise has no place in my life. And when people disturb your peace, when people test your power, those people need to go.
Or they take their own selves out.
Basically.
So, oh, you know what? Candy.
Mm-hmm.
You are still a Black girl that has her shift together. Stay on for me. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another bonus episode of Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. Please make sure click on candywashington.com. Make sure you check out everything she has on her website. Sign up for her classes. You want a little self-care in your life? Go ahead. And make sure you go to blackgirlsgettingtheirshifttogether.com. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channels, both YouTube channels, Candy and ours, and our podcast. And give us both a 5-star review. Come on, we work hard on some of this content. Show some sisters some love, right? Candy, good night. Thank you. I love everything about you.
For the queen, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and booty walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun-kiss goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti, black girl magic, melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether